Hey everyone, I'm back again with another video and I'm really excited to get into it with Archangel Michael. We're going to be channeling him today, and it's been a while since I've been doing videos and stuff like that. I've had some health issues and things like that, so it's going to be really interesting to see what Archangel Michael has to say for 2025. I left a questionnaire on Instagram and I'm really glad a lot of you responded, and I got a lot of awesome questions from all of you, and I'm really excited to see what he has to say. And thank you all for posting your questions on my Instagram. I put a questionnaire up and you guys came through really big with that, and that really helps me make new videos and things like that, so thank you. And before we start, I'm actually partnering with a new protein bar brand called Good Cravings. They make really awesome protein bars. Really, I've tried so many different protein bars throughout the years, especially all the different vegan ones, and this one's the best vegan one in my opinion. It has the best taste, and that's obviously the most important. And then it also is very healthy, and that's kind of a coincidence as well, that it has all natural ingredients. It's sweetened with dates. It's gluten-free if you care about that, and soy-free. But I have a discount code, and I'm gonna leave that down in the description. It'll get you about 10% off. The discount code is Paul10. And my two favorite flavors they have on there are the coffee caramel one and the raspberry chocolate one. They're both very good, and I think you all would really like that, especially if you're trying to live, a high vibrational lifestyle, stuff like that. I think it's a very good option if you want to add just a little bit of extra protein into your day. But without further ado, let's go on and see what Archangel Michael has to say in his opening statement. I see Archangel Michael coming through with this greenish and bluish light. It's very soothing, it's very healing, and he says, "Greetings, dear ones. Thank you for joining me here today." He says, "Each of you are very important and dear to me. The time has come for me to share my premonitions for the future in 2025. He's saying, although you may see this as trying times here on Earth, the angels are able to see Earth's progression in a different manner, from a different frequency, from a different dimension. We are able to see it from a different perspective. He's saying, although many of you see that Earth or humanity, all hope has been lost, or some things are just not going well here on Earth. He's saying there is always hope, there is always the light, and we can always choose to what we place our focus upon. And he's urging us to choose peace in the present moment. He knows it can be very intense of what's going on in the collective, what's even going on with the ascension symptoms and the energy that is coming here to Earth. It can be very intense, but he's urging us to choose peace in the present moment. We must choose the deliberate choice manifestation. He says we must be deliberate in our choices, in what we choose to manifest. He's saying in time we will see the truth. We will see the fruits of our labor here on Earth. We will see our spiritual work, our ascension work, come to fruition. He says that, contrary to what most believe, is what seeing is believing. I have to see it to believe it. Sometimes the most real things are the things that we can't see. And he's really pointing at this point of, even when it comes to spirit, or when it comes to the angels, or when it comes to our relationships, the feelings that are in our heart, they are the most real sensations in our lives. What we feel in our heart or our feelings, just because we can't see them, because we can't see the energy or the chemistry that we have with certain people, doesn't mean it's not the most real. So when he's talking about our manifestations, he's saying your manifestations are indeed real, they just haven't come to fruition yet. And he says, this has been brought by many spiritual teachers before you to help teach the process of manifestation, to hold this feeling of light, hold this feeling of whatever you want to manifest. What does that feeling feel like? And hold that feeling. And that is the feeling that you will manifest in the future. And he's saying that's why I'm urging of many to choose the feeling of peace. It's always a great starting point or building block to whatever you want to manifest next in your life. How are we supposed to manifest what we want if our mind is going all over the place? But from a state of peace, it is much easier to tune our vibrational frequency to whatever is most aligned with our soul. He's going on to talk about 2025 and how this is a starting of new building blocks of the new earth, and how people are getting out of the cities, they're creating their own communities, acquiring land, like a come back to nature moment. And you think this is very important going forward in order to get away from the collective's energy and to ground your own energy, to try to find time to get out in nature so that you can start building and manifesting the new earth. He's saying many will be guided to acquire new assets, whether it's acquiring land, properties, or assets in general, digital assets in the stock market, etc. And he's saying this is going to help lead you into more freedom. And this is what we want for you on the other side. But those of you who do not have money, he's saying that is totally okay, and that there are other ways to get out in nature, join a community, even if you don't have very much money. He's saying it's very important for us to come together in some of these communities and have good social interactions with other people, because he knows that many of us don't have many social interactions anymore, especially with the way the internet's going. It's become very toxic in some ways, and very isolating for so many people, that it's very important for us to create these new communities in the future. So he's saying that those of you that feel guided to do this, to start a community or to buy a property or to buy land, and then to create a community with others or with neighbors or whatever it is, he's saying go forth and do this. This is the time in the future. That he's talking about before long, properties and houses and things, they're going to be unattainable for most people. And they already are starting to be like that. And he sees in 2025 and so forth that there's going to be even more housing shortages in North America, Canada, and the US. They're just not building enough homes. So he's saying if you can, start acquiring assets now, because everything's going to keep rising in the future. And he's saying partly it's not even due to a housing shortage or supply and demand, it's also due to hyperinflation. And he's saying no matter whoever is in political office, that the US will choose hyperinflation because it is better than going into a recession or a depression. Even though that still may happen in the future, it is what the US likes to choose, and this affects the whole world. And thank you for asking your questions on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, go follow me there, and you'll be able to ask questions for lives like this. And Raheem, with his first question, he says, any investment ideas? Interesting one, Raheem. Let's see what he has to say. With you specifically, Raheem, he is talking about you going on YouTube, learning about stocks and stocks options, things like this. Because you don't have to have a ton of money to get started at something like that. So you go online, you look at all these free courses, and this is what I've done, Raheem, as well. As you go online, you look on YouTube and you see what kind of resonates most with you. And it's going to change over time too, especially as your portfolio grows. You'll find different courses on stocks and stock options, and there's many of them that are free online on YouTube. And these have helped me greatly when investing in things like this, and as well as crypto as well. What I do hear Archangel Michael talking about is hyperinflation again. He's saying all asset classes are going to continue to going up and up due to hyperinflation. So not just crypto, which is, I think, a pretty good hedge against inflation in some ways. It's going to keep going up. He's talking about the stock market. It's going to keep going up and up and up. He's saying specifically invest in US stock market is always a good, safer bet. Expanding JV says, will starseeds and wanderers find out their heritage and meet their starseed families? Interesting one. Yes. Continuously over the next decade and so forth, people will continue to awaken and meet their starseed families. This is something that is in the works from the other side, from the Galactic Council, to have many more visitations from their starseed family members and galactic family members. This will continue to happen continuously. over and over with many people. He's saying all you have to do is ask. All you have to do is move into vibrational alignment, and these things will happen because they are a part of our awakening here on earth. They are a part of our lineage, our heritage, our identity, if we so choose. Like we said, that added at the end. Okay, that's cool. Marie says the future of crypto, and I know Archangel Michael kind of already kind of hit on this, but thank you for your question. She's just asking, what is the future of crypto? And I just see everything continuing to go up, and I see Bitcoin next year hitting closer to 200,000 and or even surpassing it. It just depending on the world events and depending on people's free will, it going past over 200,000. And eventually Bitcoin's just going to keep going up. So he does recommend, putting a portion of your funds to crypto. He's recommending around 10% for most people, for what most people can handle. But those that want to be more risky or more bullish on crypto, they say you can do many different things. Take out credit card debt, take out mortgages on your houses. He's saying on the other side, we see debt differently than people who see it on Earth. He's saying we see the monetary system on Earth as just an illusion. So if you want to leverage your assets or take out loans, he's saying that's totally okay, but it's all about what you can handle, because many people have such an emotional attachment, including me, to money in general, because it can be scary, especially if you're losing tens of thousands of dollars or whatever it is, or if you're in debt by 50 grand or whatever it is. It could be kind of stressful, and you may not realize, you're like, I can take it, and then when it actually happens, you're like, oh shit, this sucks. So it's all depending on your emotional state, how solid you are, etc. But you think for most people, around 10% is a good thing to put in crypto, or even smaller. You can start small. You think it's always a good thing just to start small and keep adding over time. But he's saying over time that in 2025, crypto is going to keep going up. It's probably going to double, he's saying. That's what he's predicting at this point in time on our current timeline. And he's saying in the years to come, he says that it would be wise for us to just hold through the whole thing, just buy it and hold it. So once Bitcoin goes 200,000, 300,000, or 400,000, and he's talking about all of the other coins kind of going with it, a lot of them. So just researching which ones to invest in is a good one to do. So Kata Attack says, world peace, ? Ooh, I wonder if there's going to be any more wars. We'll see. What I sense from Archangel Michael is that there is going to be more war, more turmoil, more upheaval. Definitely. He's saying this is still the old just playing itself out. And other parts of the world and the U.S. Will get involved in some of these wars. But in terms of U.S. being on home U.S. soil or North American soil, he doesn't see much happening there. But in a lot of these other countries in the Middle East, in Eastern Europe, there's going to be continuous war for quite a while, and it may calm down for a time, and then it may come back up again. But this is just the old playing itself out, the old paradigm. And it will take time for things to settle down again into peace. But he's saying in the meantime, it's very important to kind of some of these things, especially if we can't really control them at all anyways, and to focus on peace within our own hearts and our own space, and create that kind of space or community with those that are around us. And this is very important. He's talking about even things are moving much faster, and the splitting of realities, splitting of people's vibrational frequencies are happening faster and faster. So those that you see that are experiencing certain realities, you're going to be experiencing a completely different one. And this is partially due to the dawn of technology and social media and all of these things and the internet. Things are just moving a lot faster and faster. And the separation is growing further and further. Sarah says, 2024 was tough. Will 2025 be as hard? For you specifically, Sarah, I don't believe that it'll be as difficult for you. 2025, no. And now I'm just kind of asking for myself, do I think that Is 2025 going to be more difficult for me? No. It's going to be a bit easier for me. There's going to be some bumps here and there, but it's definitely going to be easier for me than 2024. 24 is difficult for me. I've been through so many health problems, so many things to count, and it was just really intense for me. And you just have to kind of laugh a little bit and just process it, especially if it was very traumatic for you, Sarah. So you just gonna have to try to process it as best you can, to be as kind to yourself as you can, and just rest as much as you can, and then go. And then once you rest enough, you go forward and you say, okay, now time to start get moving again. Now it's time to start exercising or whatever it is to kind of get the energy moving again. You're gonna have to force yourself to get out of bed or whatever it is, to build some momentum for whatever you're going to do next. That's the most important. It's not about, a lot of times it's about the speed of how fast we can get over things. But, you know, been something very traumatic, it may take a year, or it may take 6 months. But the cool thing about Earth is that we start to learn from these experiences that have a big impact on us. And there's a reason that light workers choose to be extra sensitive like this as well, because a lot of these things here on Earth that happen to us, or negative things, have a big impact on us. And it kind of moves us into a different direction, or it builds character or confidence or whatever it is. And then we are able to evolve. Talking about the political sector with Trump getting elected, that there will be like less regulations and less taxes. And ultimately, this will be better for the economy longer term. Maybe in the short term, there may be some hiccups here and there in 2026 or something, some in 2025. But overall, they see this as a good thing, because the government has been overreaching and taxing the people too much and overstepping its boundaries. And he sees the same thing happening in Canada as well, them electing a conservative leader that is going to kind of taxes, because they're being taxed to death in Canada. They're getting taxed on energy, everything. No one can afford to heat their homes or even feed their families or anything. It's funny, I always saw this video of people saying that this is actually true now, that people in Canada are poorer than the average person in Mississippi, the poorest state in the United States. The average GDP per capita person in Canada is poorer than the average person in Mississippi. And the housing prices are the average price of New York's Canada. So your chance of owning a home in Canada is pretty much nil to none now. Most people there that do own homes are house poor. They can barely pay their mortgages. Interest rates really messed a lot of people up there too. I do see this happening, you know, in the US as well. There is going to be housing shortages and less land, more scarcity of a lot of things, but Canada's on a different level right now. Hopefully they can recover from this. And if you didn't know, if you look up the currencies right now, USD to Canadian, it's really jarring, because the Canadian dollar has been dropping. It's been tanking because their prime minister, their finance minister just quit recently. Their prime minister is like, he might quit, Trudeau. So it's a lot of chaos going on in Canada right now. So pretty crazy. And I think that's a really cool thing, is we've been seeing this shift, you know, away from whatever communism is another what people call it. Basically, is what they're to do is just tax the people to death and basically make it so they were take away people's rights of free speech and all these different things. But we're seeing even in Europe and a lot of places that people don't want any part of this anymore. They're tired of it, and they're tired of people focusing on too much environmental regulation and, oh, we got to tax you so much because of the environment, which doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? There's other ways of helping the environment, and you don't have to tax the people like in Canada with the carbon tax. They want to tax energy, they want to tax your electricity like crazy. Doesn't make sense. So people are tired of these liberal leaders now, and they're tired of all the woke BS and stuff like that. So they don't want to really, which I think is overall a good thing, you know. But that's my shroud of feelings. Is it okay to listen to low vibrational music if you cleanse afterwards? Archangel Michael says it's okay to listen to lower vibrational music, especially if it helps you process certain emotions. depression or loss, or if it allows these emotions to kind of come up to the surface so that you can easily feel these emotions and then let go of them. But overall, he doesn't want us to lower our vibration or go into spaces or listening to lower vibrational music in general. But if we do, sometimes it can help release some of the shadow self. Yes, he's saying you can ask for cleansing, especially if you go into a low vibrational space or whatever it is, or you're listening to music that you didn't like or it was kind of low vibrational. He says you can ask to be cleansed. But he's saying if you're going back to this over and over, there's definitely another problem that needs to be addressed here. Instead of just, oh, I'm just going to cleanse myself. I'm going to listen to low vibrational music, but I just cleanse myself afterwards. Yeah. You know. So, but yeah, that was kind of weird, but yeah. 2024 was very survival mode. Is 2025 going to be like that? More or less? Survival mode? Oh my god, I've definitely felt that. You hit that on the nail, moo, whatever it is. But thanks for your question. And I felt this survival mode this whole year. Like, I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to get through the year. I can't do this. I thought I was crazy, but I guess I'm not. Some people are the same way. It's like a fight or flight response, especially if you've been through some traumatic things here in 2024. You've been through some certain health problems or something like that. It feels like you're in a fight or flight response. Like with me, for example, I went through some I've been going currently still, like some autoimmune and was kind of starving and stuff like that. And then when you come out of it, you are starting to eat normal foods again, and you're like in this fight or flight response still. So like these traumatic responses kind of stay with for a time, and it's just about trying to let go as best and rest and getting some deep rest. That's the only, getting some good sleep, getting some good grounding, things like that. That's the only thing that I feel with that. Well, let's see what Archangel Michael has to say about this. He's saying it's still going to be survival mode for a lot of people going forward, and this is going to force people to kind of look outside and to awaken more. It's kind of like the in on us so that we kind of look elsewhere. Like me, for example, the rent doubled on me, so went from 1,000 to 2,000 a month. And at that point in time, you can either say, woe is me, or be in victim mode for a time. And you may be like that for a time, but eventually you have to say, okay, now I'm going to find other ways to make money. I'm going to research things. I'm going to take my stock option courses for free, or do whatever the hell I can to try to push outside of this. And over time, you'll look back on that and say, okay, that was actually the best thing that ever happened to me, because I learned to look outside of myself and evolve and really build that confidence to where I can go do other things in life, and I'm not just doing the same thing. So it's like something rocks our boat kind of, so then we have to shift directions. Okay, I can't keep the same thing all the time that I was doing, so that's better. Hopefully that kind of asked your question. I'm kind of dwindling a little bit here near the end of the session, but really thank you all for joining. If you want to go pick up some protein bars, discount code in the description, Paul10. These are the best protein bars. I've tried so many different ones. And if you like working out, if you like fitness, if you like living a high vibrational lifestyle, definitely recommend checking out those protein bars. And they taste fantastic as well. Also, I have another discount code for a shoe that I've been wearing. It's a sandal. It's like it attaches back, so you can actually run in these, which is kind of cool. But I just wear them around everywhere. They're grounding sandals, and they have like a stainless steel and a copper plug on the bottom that kind of grounds you to the earth. And I have a discount code for this as well. And this has really helped me if you guys use that. But these are something that I really recommend, that I've always really liked, and I've had these ones for about 5 years. They're, as you can see, they're pretty worn down, and I probably need to get some more of them. But these are really awesome, and they really allow your feet to splay out and to feel free, and especially if your feet kind of sweat and flames a little bit, these are great. You just wear them everywhere, and they're way better than flip-flops, because the reason why they're way better than flip-flops is because they have this back strap on them, and you just adjust them. You can adjust them with this buckle here, and they're just great. But that's everything that I have. And if you aren't following me on Instagram, I'm going to be posting clips of this and posting other content on there as well. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can also do that. And all of the links will be in the description as well. Thanks so much for joining me and Archangel Michael. Hopefully we all don't die in 2025. Just kidding. You have a great day.